Very good morning to all. Dear students, I hope you all are fine. So students, we have started a new chapter, The Rat Trap, yesterday from your book Flamingo. So students, this chapter is written by Selma Lagerlöf. She was a Swedish writer and she had a universal theme in all her stories, that a belief that the essential goodness of a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. Means with our understanding and love we can change the people. We have discussed about so many important characters of this chapter also. The main character of this chapter is the rat trap seller. The rat trap seller had so many names in this chapter like the tramp, the wanderer and the vagabond, etc. Some other names are also given here. Then we have read about a main character, that is Crofter. Crofter had the rat trap seller. Then third important character was the iron master, then his daughter Edna Wilmanson, then people who are working in that workshop, and then two captains. They are the main characters of this chapter. In this chapter we have discussed that a vagabond was there who went around selling small rat traps, but profitable business was not there. So he had to do some begging or some other work also like thievery. In this time he was spending a sad and monotonous life. So students, जो क्रॉफ्टर है वो हेल्प करता है रेड ट्रैप सेलर की, बट ही स्टोल हिज मनी, जो 30 क्रोनर थे, जो स्वीडन मनी जो करेंसी है, वो उसके मनी को लेके क्या करता है, he decided to go through the forest. रोड को छोड़ के वो फॉरेस्ट के रोड से जाता है, बट इट वाज लेट इन दिसंबर, विंटर की बात है ये. डार्कनेस वाज ऑलरेडी डिसेंडिंग ओवर द फॉरेस्ट. This increased the danger and increased also his gloom and despair. Finally, he saw no way out and he sank down on the ground, tired to death. अभी now when he didn't get any way, तो क्या करता है वो? He was very tired. ठीक है, तो वो ground में वहाँ पे गिर जाता है. But that is last moment had come. उसको लगता है कि now he is going to die. What just as he laid his head on the ground, he heard a sound, a hard regular thumping. अभी वो ग्राउंड पे गिर जाता है तो वो एक साउंड उसको सुनती है. व्हाट वाज दैट साउंड? दैट साउंड वाज ऑफ अ हैमर. हैमर की उसको आवाज आती है. देयर वाज नो डाउट एज टू व्हाट दैट वाज. ही रेज्ड हिमसेल्फ. दोस आर द हैमर स्टॉक्स फ्रॉम एन आयरन मिल. तो लकीली वन आयरन मिल वाज आल्सो देयर. He thought there must be people nearby. He summoned all his strength. So he gathered all his strength, got up and staggered in the direction of the sound. तो अपनी सारी स्ट्रेंथ को गैदर करता है, वो पूरी अपनी ताकत से क्या करता है, उस डायरेक्शन में जहां से वो साउंड आ रही है, he went to that way. The Ramsau Iron Works, very important name in this chapter. Iron mill है ये, Ramsau Iron Works, which are now closed down. So writer is telling us कि ये जो मिल है ये अब now it is closed down, but earlier it was working. Not so long ago, a large plant with smelter, rolling mill and forge. In the summertime, long lines of heavily loaded barges and scows slid down the canal which led to a large inland lake, and in the winter time the roads near the mill were black from all the coal dust which sifted down from the big charcoal crates. So it is a method of transportation. Ramsau Iron Works में किस तरह से जो समर टाइम है तब तो वो दे यूज वाटर ट्रांसपोर्ट, barges and scows, बड़ी बड़ी बोट्स के थ्रू, कैनल के थ्रू, और विंटर टाइम में दे यूज द रोड्स के थ्रू वो क्या करते थे, जो क्रेटर्स थे, जो क्रेट्स थे चारकोल के, उनको लेके जाते थे, और डस्ट ही डस्ट एवरीवेयर वाज देयर. During one of the long dark evenings just before Christmas, the master smith and his helper sat in the dark forge near the furnace waiting for the pig iron. Pig iron means raw iron, which had been put in the fire to be ready to put on the anvil. तो during the long dark evenings, ऐसे डे में master smith थे वहाँ पे और उनके helper थे. Two persons were there, master smith and his helper. तो what they were doing? They were waiting for the pig iron, raw iron, जो कहाँ था? furnace में था. Every now and then, one of them got up to stir the glowing mass with a long iron bar, returning in a few moments, dripping with perspiration, through as was the custom. He wore nothing but a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. तो ये उनकी costume था, long shirt और wooden shoes. All the time there were many sounds to be heard in the forge. The big bellows groaned and the burning coal cracked, the firewire shovel peal of clatter. Outside toward the waterfall, and a sharp north wind whipped the rain against the brick-tiled roof. So many type of sounds were there. क्या क्या था वहाँ पे? Brick bellows groan. बहुत tools की बहुत sounds थी. Burning coal cracked. जो coal burn हो रहा था उसकी sound थी. और जो furnace में वो charcoal डाल रहे थे उसकी sound थी. Waterfall की sound थी. Rain की sound थी. So different type of sound were there. It was probably an account of all this noise that the blacksmith didn't notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the forge until he stood closer to the furnace. अब इतनी साउंड में, इतने नॉइस में उसको जो वहाँ पे पर्सन काम कर रहे थे उनको पता नहीं लगा कि when he entered that forge, कब वो वर्कशॉप में एंटर कर दिया उस पर्सन ने. Surely it was nothing unusual for poor vagabonds without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of light which escaped through the sooty panes. Sooty panes means जो dusty panes थी, क्योंकि that was a workshop. और वर्कशॉप में आपने देखा होगा जो विंडोज है वो ऑलमोस्ट ब्लैक थी, वहां की ब्लैक हो जाती हैं. एंड टू कम टू वार्म देमसेल्फ इन फ्रंट ऑफ द फायर. तो ऑब्वियसली जो वैगाबॉन्ड्स हैं, जो वॉन्डरर्स हैं, जिनके पास कोई घर नहीं है, वो अट्रैक्ट होते हैं ऐसी किसी वर्कशॉप में अपनी नाइट को स्पेंड करने के लिए कि कहीं उनको शेल्टर मिल जाए और फूड भी मिल जाए. तो स्टूडेंट्स, the blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder. Intruder means who enter at any place without permission. So glance means he saw him और उन्होंने उसको एक बार देखा. He looked the way people of this time usually did with a long beard. Personality उसकी लंबी long beard थी उसकी, dirty, ragged and with a bunch of rat traps dangling. Dangling means hanging. And also used for that rat trap seller. Ragamuffin means wearing dirty clothes. That person who had eased his way too close to the furnace that steam rose from his wet rags. Rags means जो उसके पुराने कपड़े थे, dirty clothes से वो wet थे. कैसे? rain से. तो कह रहे वो इतने ज़्यादा furnace के नज़दीक था कि उसके जो wet clothes है उसमें से steam बाहर आ रही थी. The iron master didn't follow the example of the blacksmiths. मतलब जो behavior blacksmiths का था, iron master didn't do that. Who had hardly deigned to look at the stranger. जो blacksmith थे उन्होंने तो ignore ही कर दिया उसको. और जो iron master थे, he walked close up to him, looked him over very carefully, then tore off his slouch hat to get a better view of his face. But of course it is you, Niels Olive, he said. How you do look. तो अब ये जो पर्सन थे, ये जो आयरन मास्टर थे, वो सरप्राइज थे इसको देख के. उन्होंने बड़े ध्यान से उसको पास से देखा और बोला नील्स ऑलिव कि ये आप कैसा दिख रहे हो, आप हो ये. तो the man with the rat trap said never before seen the iron master at Trapso and didn't even know what his name was. तो जो rat trap seller था उसको कुछ नहीं पता था कि who is that person. What it occurred to him that if the fine gentleman thought he was an old acquaintance, acquaintance means companion or known, he might perhaps throw him a couple of kroner. Therefore he didn't want to unreceive him all at once. तो कहता है ये जो पर्सन था, ये जो rat trap seller है, इसको लगा कि रिच पर्सन है, उसको लग रहा है कि he knew me, तो वो कुछ couple of kroner, कुछ करेंसी वो मेरे को दे देगा. Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me, he said. Here downhill means declining condition. तो कहता भगवान जानता है, God knows things have done downhill with me. You should not have resigned from the regiment. Said the iron master, that was a mistake. If only I had still been in the service at the time, it never would have happened. Well, now of course you will come home with me. तो ये जो आयरन मास्टर है वो कह रहे हैं कि अगर आप रेजिमेंट से आपको रिजाइन नहीं करना चाहिए था, कि अगर मैं वहाँ पे होता तो ऐसा मैं नहीं होने देता. Now you have to come with me to my home. To go along up to the manor house. Manor means very large house and be received by the honor like an old regimental comrade. Comrade means companion that however didn't tease the tramp. अब ये जो ट्रैम्प है, ये जो vagabond है, ये जो rat trap seller है, now he was afraid कि उसके इतने बड़े घर में जाना कि कहीं ये प्रॉब्लम ना क्रिएट कर दे मेरे लिए. Then no, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. थोड़ा threatened था वो, कहता कि नहीं मुझे नहीं लगता I should go to your home. He thought of the 30 kroner. To go up to the manor house would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. कि मेरे को ऐसा लगता कि मैं अपने आप को किसी प्रॉब्लम में डाल रहा हूँ अगर मैं वहाँ जा रहा हूँ. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forge and then sneak away as as possible. तो कह रहा है कि I want to stay in this workshop और as soon as possible मैं यहाँ से चुपचाप से निकल जाऊँगा. The iron master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. तो आयरन मास्टर को लगा कि इसकी क्लोथ्स जो है वो बहुत डर्टी है, सो इसलिए उसको ऐसा फील हो रहा है. Please don't think that I have such a fine room that you cannot show yourself there, he said. Elizabeth is dead. एलिजाबेथ के बारे में, अपनी वाइफ के बारे में बता रहा है. As you may already have heard, my boys are abroad. बेटे मेरे बाहर हैं. And there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. घर में मैं हूँ और मेरी बेटी है. We were just saying that it was too bad we didn't have any company for Christmas. Now come along with me and help us make the Christmas food disappear a little faster. तो ये आयरन मास्टर रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि you have to join us for the Christmas Eve also. So we will enjoy or you can take good food there also. But the stranger said no, no and again no. And the iron master saw that he must give in. तो स्ट्रेंजर जो था, ये जो ट्रैप था, वो बार बार मना कर रहा था कि I will not go to your home. It looks as if Captain Monster preferred to stay with you tonight. Strong, he said to the master blacksmith and turned on his heel. तो वो कह रहे हैं कैप्टन आपके साथ ही रहना चाह रहे हैं, वो जो अपनी उनकी मिल में काम करने वाले मास्टर ब्लैक्समिथ थे, कि आज वो आपके साथ यहीं रहना चाहते हैं. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith who knew him understood very well that he had not said his last word. तो जो वहाँ पे काम करने वाले ब्लैक्समिथ थे, उनको पता था कि ये जो पर्सन है, ये जो आयरन मास्टर है, ये इनके लास्ट वर्ड नहीं है, कि वो कुछ सोच रहे हैं, कुछ और प्लान कर रहे हैं इसके लिए. So students, next part we will continue tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.